Good morning, everyone. This is Anna with Adventures with Anna, and today I thought I would update you on the 2017 crochet challenge that I issued. Actually, it was a yarn challenge. I'm sitting here looking at it on my laptop. It says Yarn Challenge 2017. It's a video that I put up almost a year ago, and I don't know if any of you followed along and did the challenge with me. If you did, leave me in the comment below how you did on that challenge. But I did not do very well at all. So I made some notes, and I'm probably going to be looking back and forth. But on the original challenge, I said that I wanted to finish the shawl. Now, if you haven't seen the video, this was a shawl pattern, which I have looked here recently. It was on the Crochet Crowd. I'm burning incense behind me. Don't worry, there's nothing on fire. Well, it is. But anyway, it was originally on the Crochet Crowd website. I have looked recently. I cannot find that pattern anymore. And obviously I did not print the pattern off for whatever reason. So that shawl is still sitting in the bag. I have not touched it. I do think that shawl would make I don't know, it might be long enough I could just leave it where it is and it would be just a real short little shawlet or something. But I haven't even touched it since it went in the timeout box. The next thing that I showed in my original video was my crocheted flowers that I was making for the Flower Power curtain or whatever. Those are still there. They are untouched. I have not made any more flowers for that. However, I'm thinking that might be something cute to put in my window of my new crochet room when I get it done. So that's a possibility for this year, but I'm not saying I'm going to do it. The third thing that I showed in my original video was a crochet along from the Crochet Crowd. There was an amigurumi. I think I'm pronouncing that correct. I'm not real sure. But anyway, I made it about halfway and put it in the bag because I ran out of yarn, and not knowing what it was going to look like, I just quit. And then when I found out what it was, I was like, I'm not going to finish it because it was a kangaroo, a mama kangaroo and a baby kangaroo, and I just could not fathom the thought of things being multicolored with that. So I have done something with that. I actually undid each piece of the amigurumi and took the stuffing out, and I have actually been reusing the stuffing, making all those fish and the couple octopus that I've made so far this year. And I have used some of that yarn. Some of it I think I tied it together and made one big ball, but I mean, I made one of the octopus out of that yarn. So I have frogged and repurposed the yarn and the stuffing from that project. So it wasn't finished, it was just repurposed. The next item is the knit kitty cat dishcloth that I was working on. I have started and stopped that multiple times over the past year. I finally just decided to frog it and not worry about it, and I have repurposed some of that yarn out of that dishcloth. I made part of one of my fish is made with that yarn, and I do have plans on using the yarn to make more stuff. So that has been repurposed. And the last item, the last item that I showed in my original video was the Granny Square baby blanket that I started over 25 years ago. It's still in the box untouched. I have not touched it. I hadn't even looked at it since that video. So technically, the only two things that I've done, I've not finished anything. I've just frogged and repurposed a couple of yarns that were being used in the projects in my timeout box. Okay, I added a video in June, and at that point I had not completed any of the projects in my box, but I had added another project that I wanted to finish, which kind of was in my box but not really. It was the double-ended Tunisian squares that one side was a blue color. I can't think of the name of the blue, but one side was a blue color, the other side was a variegated like pink, green, white, and I pardon me, I believe that color was called French Country. I think I might have finished one more square since then, but it's still sitting there untouched, and I haven't done a whole lot with it yet. And then in September, I made another update on my projects, which at that point, I still had nothing complete that was in my original box. but I did add that I wanted to finish the Tunisian gloves that I was making for my husband. Technically, I didn't finish them. The pattern is a vintage pattern, and it is a little difficult to understand in parts by the way it was written. At least it's difficult for me. Those are still sitting in the box. I think I'm going to reclaim the yarn and use it for something else. However, I did actually make him a pair of gloves. I made these gloves. Using this glove was the same pattern that I made for his fingerless gloves that I made a couple years back for him. These gloves were made with a wool blend yarn, and I did actually complete them, and I did give them to him for his birthday. He does enjoy them, and he does like them. So I kind of finished this project, but technically I didn't. So I don't know if you want to count that or not on whether I finished the Tunisian glove project, because those gloves were regular crochet instead of Tunisian crochet, but I did actually finish a pair of gloves for the intended individual that the Tunisian gloves were for. So whichever you want to go, I say I completed that one with a twist. Okay, I also added that I was working on an orange and camouflage interlac blanket. That blanket I was making for my uncle, which that blanket quickly got put into the timeout box because the uncle that I was making it for passed away. So I didn't want to look at it. It's still in the box. I haven't looked at it. I haven't touched it. Eventually I will finish it, but for now it's going to stay where it's at. And the other thing that I mentioned in my September video is that I wanted to finish, the other thing I mentioned was that I was working on my rainbow 10-stitch blanket again. Well, it's still a work in progress. I dig it out every now and then and do a few rows and work on it. So that one I haven't finished either. So overall, throughout the entire year, the only project that I think that I have actually completed and finished with a little twist is, pardon me, the one that I added in, September for the Tunisian gloves. So I will put the links to those original videos down in the description box below, so you can go review them if you would like. If you followed along and completed the challenge or worked on the challenge, leave me a comment below and let me know how you did. Hopefully you did a lot better than I did, because I don't feel I did very good at all, and I wasn't a very good host. So we've got another challenge this year for our crochet group. Instead of being a year-long challenge, it's actually a quarterly challenge, and for each half of the year, like January through June, and then July through the end of the year, we have a bigger challenge for like the 6-month period, and then we have shorter challenges for a 3-month period. I will be making a video for that here shortly, and probably, I don't know, it might be next week before I get it up, but I'm going to make a video so that I can keep track of what I'm doing, and hopefully you guys can follow along. So thank you for watching. I want to thank all the new subscribers that I've had, because there have been several of you since Monday. And don't forget to leave me a comment, subscribe, tell your friends, and I will be back for sure on Monday, and maybe before then.